Okay, cool. So just settling in, pushing the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. And then let's review the instructions. We're going to sit in this open, friendly awareness and leaning into the kind of formless, leaning into effortlessness. And then when thoughts arise, we can just ask, is that true? Can I really know that's true? And let me just reiterate that that's not about developing any kind of aversion towards our experience. It's just about kind of opening up to not knowing, not being able to take a really firm stance on anything from an ultimate perspective. And then, if desire or aversion arise, in a sense, just name that as, oh, things should be different, or things should be different. And just stay with that. And again, we're not trying to ridicule ourselves. There's plenty of space. We can have desire, have aversion. All of that's all good and well. But what we're trying to do is kind of have a balanced view. In a sense, the view of emptiness. Not of nihilism, saying, oh, there's just getting rid of, annihilating desire and aversion. No, there's space for it. But then also not totally reifying it, not taking it so seriously. So again, coming back to the middle, to the 0 point. So that'll be the practice. Okay, good. Now, just to make things super arcane and complicated, let's have a pre-meditation about the meditation. So, okay, now think about it. So envision yourself meditating. You're sitting there in open awareness, and these thoughts are arising. And there's this inquiring attitude of, oh, is this true? And then you notice the practice working. And it's satisfying and interesting. And then you go back to open awareness. The thought dissolves. And you're enjoying it. There's even a sense of accomplishment. And then again, thoughts come up. You inquire, can I know that this is true? And there's this joy and ease around seeing it all dissolve. And then maybe desires come up. And you just notice clearly, and you just are with this desire that things be different. And you just look at that as it is. And then you notice it all arise and pass. It all arises out of awareness. It is made of awareness. And it recedes back into open, spacious awareness. And then there could be distractions. That happens. They might be mildly irritating. And there's plenty of room for irritation as well. Then we just come back. And then things just go on. Maybe we forget what we're doing again. We catch ourselves, come back. And then things are going well again. And now you see that the meditation has ended. And you see how both the open awareness and the inquiring into these mental objects informs the rest of your day, rest of your week, rest of the month, now the rest of the year, now the whole rest of your life. And there's this ease and openness and actually a sense of humor about things because we're not taking them so seriously. But it's a lighthearted, sweet sense of humor, not cynicism at all. Okay, good. Right now we'll actually do the practice. So we'll start with chanting, and then we'll do our breath work, and then off Almost like usual. So, okay, inhaling the hands to heart center. Inhale deeply. Inhale deeply. Inhale deeply. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Inhale deeply. Om Peace, Peace, Peace. Okay, good. All right, inhale the arms up like so. Now retain the breath, bring the arms out to the side. Start exhaling, the hands are coming towards each other. And you're noticing how all of this is happening within awareness. Inhale deeply, the arms come up. Retain the breath, bring the arms out to the side. Exhale, the hands are coming towards each other, coordinating with the breath. And you're also noticing how it's all taking care of itself. You're not too terribly involved. And one more time, inhale. Retain the breath, bring the arms out to the side. Exhale. The hands are coming towards each other, meeting in the front of the sternum. Good. All right, inhale the arms up. Take the torso pivot over to your right. Bring the arms down. Look over the right shoulder. Retain the breath. Exhale, come back to center. Inhale the arms up. Pivot over to the left. Bring the arms down. Exhale, come back to center. Okay, good. Now, we're just opening up the eyes. And again, the context is this open, friendly awareness. But also this quality of don't know. And now notice the inclination to make something out of your experience, to concretize your experience into a thing, into a concept. And just see if you can relax that. And if things concretize, then that's fine. We let that be. We just relax into that. Okay, good. Now close the eyes. Bring your attention to your internal experience of vision, so image thoughts. Now notice how it's all arising on its own. And you can notice how it's all occurring in this huge, vast space. It's not claustrophobic. It's like spaciousness and permission for everything to arise and pass. And also notice any inclination to make a thing out of your experience. And just noticing that's enough. Not trying to get rid of anything. And now bring your attention to hearing. Now try to hear the ships in a distant harbor. So listening in a very attentive way. And notice all the spaciousness and ease, all the automaticity. Now bring your attention to internal talk space, internal sound, auditory thoughts. Then just notice how everything arises and passes on its own. How there's just stillness. And how even activity is inherently still. Now take a deep breath and feel the whole body all at once. And exhale, feeling the whole body all at once. Now feeling the feet and the legs. Now let's particularly study any kind of conceptualization that happens of the feet and the legs. So go ahead and try to bring up an image thought and pair it with the proprioception. Now let that collapse. There's just this proprioception, which if you really look at it, seems like it's a big bunch of nothing. And then there's just the image thought, which is also really vague. And just notice how the thought that the sensation of proprioception of the legs and the feet, the image thought, that just there's another third thought, a third arising that says those things are related. And it's just another thought. And now we can just invite that to fall away. Now let's feel the hips and the torso all at once. Again, it's just a sensory experience. And maybe there's an image thought of the torso and hips. And that's all that is, an image thought. And now, go to the shoulders and the arms, and the hands. And watch how we make a concept about it, which is helpful, it's useful, it's not a problem. But we just also see, aha, this is a concept. And now feeling the back of the neck and the front of the neck, and the face and the head. Notice the image thought, notice the proprioception, notice how the mind pairs up the two, and actually notice how the pairing is just a separate thought. In a certain way, it's no more real than a thought of an elephant, just another sensory event, but possibly a useful one. That's fine. Now bring your attention to emotions. There's so much space, so much permission. Anything and everything can arise. Okay, cool. So now for the next 15 minutes, we'll just sit in this open, friendly awareness. Then as thoughts come up, we can inquire into them with either, is that true? Can I really know that's true? Or, oh, things should be different, when it's a desire or aversion. Just putting forth gentle effort. Okay, good. So we'll start wrapping it up. First, look at the mind itself. Noticing if there's any openness, friendliness, non-fixity, open awareness. Okay, good. So let this practice work through us in such a way that others benefit as well. Okay, so how did that go? And I'll go ahead and answer my own question, give it a little bit of a report. So it was interesting. I noticed how, there are things coming up in my own life, like in the news and stuff, that I find threatening and disturbing. And I noticed that there's a reaction of anger and aversion, and that is covering up a sadness, that I wish that things could be different. And so I just saw that, and like, it's fine that I want things to be different on some level, and that I'm uncomfortable with certain things. So I just felt that and that's kind of where that went. Okay, that's my comment. How did it go for y'all?
I can start. Yeah, I've been doing a home retreat today, just a single day, and had quite a lot of dullness and distraction during most of my sits. After about 5 minutes or so with this one, that came back as well. And initially, I had a lot of aversion towards that distraction and the dullness, because it didn't feel like the distractions were the type of distractions that you could do the inquiry with, that we discussed. But then after a while, towards the end, I shifted more towards the direction of the donor mind versus effort that we talked about earlier, more away from effort and towards just being friendly and okay with the dullness and distractions. And there were a couple moments of just feeling the sensations of those two things. So that was quite nice. And then, of course, the distractions came back again. And, so I meandered in that territory for a bit. But it was an interesting alternative to my usual TMI style of just immediately applying the correct antidote and with a lot of effort just trying to get rid of it. So this was nice as well. Yeah, and it's good to, like you mentioned, explore both sides. Yeah.
Okay, great report, Hans. Okay, like there's some questions. So Adrian says, I have a question. How do you deal with thoughts like, what am I getting for lunch? Well, you can dismiss them or you can inquire into them, like what am I getting for lunch is like really, really intricate, codependently arisen, and kind of complicated, right? Like let's just look at that inquiry. Let's just look at that question. Like there's a certain way of looking at it, like you don't even know what it means. And then like watch how it's all constructed. Like maybe it's helpful to like notice the hunger. That's actually different and apart from the auditory thought of, oh, what am I going to get for lunch? And then maybe there's image thoughts that arise with that, right? So you see yourself maybe going to a cafeteria or whatever it is. And so that's also a distinct thing. And so, you can just look at it, right? And even you could say, is that true? Like, and that's kind of like just going to break up the fixity of it. Like this like knowingness of, oh, I know what this means. Well, maybe even open up to not knowing what that means. That's what comes up. I hope that spoke to your question, Adrian. And to be clear, that's just one perspective. And then, Nick says there's no such thing as a distraction that can't be inquired on. Definitely, right? And also just to be clear, like the inquiry kind of like facilitates, but it's like really like a state of mind. It's like this like quality of openness. Like, well, I just don't quite know, and also I don't need to know. It's I don't know and I don't need to know. But again, just to be clear, we're not villainizing knowing in the functional ways that we need to know things. Okay, Adrian says, wow. Thanks. Okay, great.
Yeah, that was a really, really amazing meditation for me. It was just extremely open and light, and things kept coming up, and I kept inquiring and letting them go. And it was just really lovely and beautiful. And a lot of recursive stuff came up, like tension in the center of the chest and ideas and thoughts. And it was just really easy to be okay with them and let them go. And also I wanted to talk about the Mind Illuminated, which I've practiced a lot of in Hans's report. Mind Illuminated makes I think the best insight of that book is the distinction between attention and awareness, and maintaining awareness even when you're directing attention. And ultimately, there is no distinction between attention and awareness. And attention is kind of like a contraction of awareness around a specific thing where you're trying to direct it. But when you move into awareness-based practices, distractions don't exist anymore, because it's just your awareness that's contracting over something that you're not intending it to do. But that's just the nature of the mind. That's not anything wrong that's happening. That's not anything that you even need to apply corrective actions for. And when you move into that way of meditating, then there aren't any more distractions, and there isn't any more bad meditation, and there isn't any more doing anything wrong. And it's like just a total ground figure reversal of how meditation is viewed, and it becomes much more easeful and pleasant to meditate.
Yeah, and I think what comes up for me is like it's just like suiting up and showing up. That's all you need to do. Just you sit, and then that's it. And that's why I think that's also why they, these terms of like just sitting, shikantaza exists, because you just sit there and then you're just with what's arising.
How are dullness and drowsiness and eventually sleepiness viewed in these types of meditation?
Take a nap.
Yeah.
I think that there's some wisdom to that as well. I mean, I don't know, and it depends on the style that you're coming at it, but I mean, it's kind of not a problem. I mean, I actually started kind of falling asleep in this last meditation, and I just tried to stay with it, and I don't know, that's what's coming up. Well, like Adrian says, you can probably ask, is it true that I'm sleepy? So in a certain way, yeah, like look at the sleepiness, like what is that, and why are you, and again, this is kind of like tongue in cheek, but why are we so sure we're sleepy? Like it's just this sensory thing happening. And if you look and try to find it, you can't even find sleepiness. Okay. Well, I've got to run. Thank you all. But I'll reiterate homework. So see if you can do 45 minutes of this kind of open, friendly awareness, and then bringing these inquiries to it. Like, can I know this is true? Is it true? Things should be different. I mean, like, and see if you can also do those micro hits of those during the day. Also keep going with the me too. Man, that's so helpful. So, and you guys seem to have gotten a lot out of that. And then also, your acts of generosity. I think that's always helpful, because that kind of softens everything, and it's a good antidepressant, makes life easier. So, okay, that's all I got.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks, everyone. Goodbye.
Thank you. See y'all. Bye-bye.